The Duchy of Thuringia was an eastern frontier march of the Merovingian kingdom of Austrasia, established about 631 by King Dagobert I after his troops had been defeated by the forces of the Slavic confederation of Samo at the Battle of Wogastisburg. It was recreated in the Carolingian Empire and its dukes appointed by the king until it was absorbed by the Saxon dukes in 908. From about 1111/12, the territory was ruled by the Landgraves of Thuringia as princes of the Holy Roman Empire. History: the former kingdom of the Thuringia rose during the migration period after the decline of the Hunnic Empire in Central Europe in the mid-5th century, culminating in the defeat in the 454 Battle of Nedao. With Bisnus, a first Thuringian king is documented about 500, who ruled over extended estates that stretched beyond the main river in the south. His son and successor Hermanfrid married Amalaberga, a niece of the Ostrogoth king Theodoric the Great, thereby hedging the threat of incursions by the Merovingian Franks in the west. However, when King Theodoric died in 526, they took the occasion to invade the Thuringian lands and finally carried off the victory in a 531 battle on the Unstrut River. King Theodoric of Reims had Hermanfrid trapped in Zulpich, where the last Thuringian king was killed. His niece Princess Radegund was kidnapped by King Clothar I and died in exile in 586. The Thuringian realm was shattered. The territory north of the Harz mountain range was settled by Saxon tribes, while the Franks moved into the southern parts on the main river. The estates east of the Saale River were beyond Frankish control and taken over by Palabian Slavicis. Merovingian Duchy: the first documented Duke of remaining Thuringia was a local noble named Radulf, installed by King Dagobert in the early 630s. Radulf was able to secure the Frankish border along the Saale River in the east from Slavic incursions. However, according to the Chronicle of Fredegar, in 641 halves his victories turned his head, and he allied with Samo and rebelled against Dagobert's successor, King Sigobert III, even going so far as to declare himself King of Thuringia. A punitive expedition led by the Frankish mayor of the palace Grimoald ultimately failed, and Radulf was able to maintain his semi-autonomous position. His successors of the local ducal dynasty, the Henan, supported missionary activity within the duchy, but seem to have lost the hold on Thuringia after the rise of the Pippinids in the early 8th century. A conflict with Charles Martel around 717–19 brought an end to autonomy. In 849, the eastern part of Thuringia was organized as the Limes Sorbicus, or Sorbian March, and placed under a duke named Thachal. In the annals of Fulda his title is Dux Sorbici Limitis, Duke of the Sorbian frontier, but he and his successors were commonly known as Ducis Thuringorum, Dukes of the Thuringians, as they set about establishing the power over the old duchy. After Thachalf's death in 873, the Sorbs rose in revolt and he was succeeded by his son Radul. In 880, King Louis replaced Radulf with Poppo, perhaps a kinsman. Poppo instigated a war with Saxony in 882, and in 883 he and his brother Agino fought a civil war for control of Thuringia, in which the latter was victorious. Agino died in 886 and Poppo resumed command. In 892, King Arnulf replaced Poppo with Conrad. This was an act of patronage by the king. The Conrad's house, the Conradines, were soon feuding with Poppo's, the Babenbergs. But Conrad's rule was short, perhaps because he had a lack of local support. He was replaced by Burchard, whose title in 903 was Marchio Thuringianum, Margrave of the Thuringians. Burchard had to defend Thuringia from the incursions of the Magyars and was defeated and killed in battle, along with the former Duke Agino, on 3 August 908. He was the last recorded Duke of Thuringia. The duchy was the smallest of the so-called younger stem duchies, and was absorbed by Saxony after Burchard's death. When Burchard's sons were finally expelled by Duke Henry the Fowler in 913, the Thuringians remained a distinct people, and in the Middle Ages the land was organized as a landgraviate. Landgraviate, a separate Thuringian stem duchy, did not exist during the emergence of the German kingdom from East Francia in the 10th century. Large parts of the Thuringian estates were controlled by the Counts of Weimar and the Margraves of Meissen. According to the medieval chronicler Thietmar of Mersburg, Margrave I was appointed Thuringian Duke. After his assassination 1002, Count William II of Weimar acted as Thuringian spokesman with King Henry II of Germany. In 1111, 12th Count Hermann I of Winsenberg is documented as a Thuringian landgrave, the first mention of a secession from Saxony. However, he later had to yield as he sided with the papacy during the investiture controversy. Meanwhile, the Franconian aristocrat Louis the Springer laid the foundations for the erection of Wartburg Castle, which became the residence of his descendants who, beginning with his son Louis I, served as Thuringian landgraves. Louis I had married the Rhenish Franconian Countess Hedwig of Gurdensburg and became the heir of extended estates in Thuringia and Hesse, a close ally of King Lothar II of Germany against the rising Hohenstaufen dynasty. He was appointed Landgrave of Thuringia in 1131. The dynasty maintained the landgraviate throughout the fierce struggle of the Hohenstaufen and Welf royal families, occasionally switching sides according to the circumstances. Beside the Wartburg, the Ludowingian landgraves had further lavish residences erected, like Neuenburg Castle near Freiburg, or Marburg Castle in the Hessian estates. In the Golden Age under Hohenstaufen rule, Thuringia became a center of Middle High German culture, epitomized by the legendary Sandgerkrieg at the Wartburg, or the ministry of St. Elizabeth, the daughter of King Andrew II of Hungary, when Landgrave Louis IV married her in 1221. The Ludowingian dynasty had accomplished the advancement to one of the mightiest princely houses of the Holy Roman Empire. Under the rule of the Landgraves, town privileges were conferred to Mühlhausen and Nordhausen, which became free imperial cities, while the largest city Erfurt remained a possession of the prince-archbishops of Mainz. The Landgraves maintained close ties with the Teutonic Knights. The order established several commanderies east of the Saale, as in Altenburg and Schliess, with the administrative seat of the Thuringian bailiwick in Zwatzen near Jena. The last Thuringian landgrave, Henry Rasper, reached his appointment as German governor by the Hohenstaufen Emperor Frederick II in 1242. However, when Frederick was declared deposed by Pope Innocent IV in 1246, he secured the support by the archbishops Siegfried III of Mainz and Conrad of Cologne, and had himself elected German anti-king. Mocked as Rex Clericorum, his rule remained disputed, though he was able to defeat the troops of Frederick's son Conrad IV. He died 1 year later. His heritage was claimed by both the Wettin Margrave Henry III of Meissen, son of Judith of Thuringia, and Duchess Sophie of Brabant, daughter of late Landgrave Louis IV, a conflict that led to the War of the Thuringian Succession. As a result, Henry of Meissen Meissen gained the bulk of Thuringia in 1264, while the Hessian possessions of the Landgraves was separated as the Landgraviate of Hesse under the rule of Sophie's son Henry I. The Meissen Margraves of the Wettin dynasty retained the Landgravial title. Upon the death of Margrave Frederick III of Meissen, his younger brothers divided the heritage in the 1382 division of Chemnitz, whereby Thuringia passed to Balthasar. Upon the death of Landgrave Frederick IV in 1440, Thuringia fell to his nephew Elector Frederick II of Saxony. The inheritance conflict with his brother William III led to the 1445 division of Altenburg and the Saxon fratricidal war over the Wettin lands. The Thuringian lands fell to William III when he died childless in 1482. Elector Ernest inherited the Landgraviate, uniting the Wettin lands under his rule. After the 1485 Treaty of Leipzig, Thuringia split into the Saxon Ernestine and Albertine duchies. Rulers: Dukes, Older Stem Duchy 632 to 642, Radolf 642 to 687, Hednai 687 to 689, Gottsbert 689 to 719, Hedn 2. Younger Stem Duchy 849 to 873, Thachal 874 to 880, Radolf 880 to 892, Popo 882 to 886, Sagino 892 to 906, Conrad 907 to 908, Burchard Landgraves 1111, 12th Hermann of Winsenberg, Ludowingians 1131 to 1140, Louis I 1140 to 1172, Louis II 1172 to 1190, Louis III 1190 to 1217, Hermann I 1217 to 1227, Louis IV 1227 to 1241, Hermann II 1241 to 1247, Henry Rasper House of Wettin 1247 to 1265, Henry III Margrave of Meissen 1265 to 1294, Albert II Margrave of Meissen 1288 to 1292. Purchased by King Adolf of Germany 1294-1298-1298-1323, Frederick I Margrave of Meissen, jointly with his brother 1298-1307, Theodoric IV, Landgrave of Lusatia 1323-1349, Frederick II Margrave of Meissen 1349-1381, Frederick III, jointly with his brothers 1349-1382, William I 1349-1406, Balthasar, sole ruler from 1382-1406 to 1440, Frederick IV.